Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you all so much for joining me here today for a brand new pick a card reading. For anyone that's new to the channel, hello and welcome in. My name is Melissa and today's reading topic is going to be getting into green flags that someone is a soulmate. So what I'm going to be looking at in this video is positive signs and signals, synchronicities, behaviors, characteristics, etc., that somebody is in your life and aligned with you for your highest good, okay? So this reading can pertain to like a specific person that you guys want to check to see if they are a soulmate, or this can just be kind of general, like maybe as you guys are out there dating and exploring connections, maybe you apply this guidance as just general guidance to look for to see if the people you're connecting with meet these standards, okay? For those of you that have been around for a while, you may remember that a few months back I did a video talking about red flags that someone is not a soulmate. So in that video, we focus more on like the negative qualities and characteristics that you may want to avoid or just like caution yourself around if you encounter them in dating. I will have the video linked in the description box below or maybe somewhere up here if you guys want to check that one out. But this reading is really going to be focusing more on like the warm and fuzzies of the good things to look out for when you're dating people or connecting with a specific person. All right, so let's go ahead and get into our disclaimers. First and foremost, as always, remember this is a general reading, so some messages may resonate quite specifically to you while others may not. As I always say, if it doesn't apply, let it fly. Please don't get upset or take it personal if something in a general reading isn't super duper specific to your personal information, your personal situation. If you guys do want to book a personal reading, all the details on how you can do that will be linked in the description box down below. Personal readings are always a great way to get a more specific and accurate read on your own personal situation. Also keep in mind, you guys, the definition of soulmate is going to be different kind of depending on who you talk to. And I know a lot of us kind of look at the word soulmate differently. For the purposes of this video, let's just kind of try to think of soulmate as someone that is aligned with you for your highest good, like I was mentioning. So positive, aligned connections that are meant to uplift and support you versus the types of connections that are maybe kind of bringing you down or sending you into a spiral or having you repeat some sort of like a karmic pattern that you're needing to get out of. So hopefully that's clear and makes sense. Again, if you define soulmate differently, that's totally fine, but this is the way that I'm going to be defining it for the purpose of this video. So let's go ahead and get into our pile selection. We are working with 3 piles today. Starting on the left, we have pile number 1, and we are working with a Rhodochrosite here. For pile number 2, we are working with some Mookite. And for pile number 3, we're working with some Rose Quartz. So let's go ahead and take a deep breath. Think about green flags to look out for, to know that someone is your soulmate. Go ahead and select the card or crystal you're feeling the most intuitively connected to. And once you've made your choice, scroll down to the description box to click the timestamp that will take you to your chosen pile. See you there. Hello there, pile number 1. If you guys picked out the pink Rhodochrosite, this will be your reading. We are looking at green flags that someone is a soulmate. If you did miss the intro, for the purposes of this video, we are defining soulmate, green flags in a soulmate as basically someone who is aligned with you for your highest good, someone that's here to help support you on your healing journey versus someone who might be there to bring you down or someone that's triggering you into unhealthy patterns. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Let's go ahead and get into these characteristics. If you guys are curious about red flags that you want to look out for to indicate that someone is not a soulmate, I do have a video about that. It is linked in the description box down below. So pile 1, we start off here with the Knight. Oops, and we have, the Vampire. Okay, so green flags that someone is a soulmate. So starting off with these cards, I definitely think that with the Knight card coming up here, something positive to look out for would be the type of person who is very romantic, okay? The Knight is like a very chivalrous energy. This is somebody that is loyal, someone that maybe likes to do things for you. Especially when I think of chivalry, I think of like someone that does the little things, like they open the door for you, like they carry your bags when you're walking around the mall. Somebody that really desires to like honor you, right? Like that's what I think of when I think of a knight. Someone that's there to support you, someone that's there to come to your rescue if you need help with something. And of course, someone who's very romantic. I think anything that's being shown out of those attributes is a positive thing for you guys to be looking out for, pile one. This card is interesting because this is more of a negative card, right? This is kind of talking about depleting your energy. So maybe some of you guys have been in connections before. Maybe we're kind of getting into like a little bit of red flag territory here, but maybe for some of you guys, it's really important to just kind of monitor your energy levels when you are around people that you're dating. Because if you guys are very compassionate, empathetic people, I know a lot of people that view my videos are very like spiritual and you are empaths. So a lot of people will be drawn to your vibe because of that, because it feels good to be in your presence. So I think a green flag to look out for is that you are not being depleted of your energy, right? Like this says makes you aware that someone or something is draining your life force. So when you're around someone and you feel good, you feel uplifted, you feel energized, that's a sign. That's a green flag that someone is a soulmate. Maybe as well, there's a factor here for some of you guys of whoever that you're around. You know, this could be maybe they're the person that's awakening you to things that are depleting you, right? So maybe a green flag would be somebody who's also aware of your own energy levels and can kind of point out to you like, hey, pile one, I notice when you're around this person, it seems to drain you. Or I notice when you're in this situation all the time, you come home and you're really depleted, right? So maybe also having the person be kind of aware of your energy levels and able to support you through that. We have the Knight of Wands, so more knight energy coming through. And we also have the Five of Pentacles. Very interesting. It's interesting because like when I did the red flags video, there were some green flags that came out. And now that I'm doing the green flags video, there are some red flags that are coming out too. So they kind of go together. But I definitely would say with the Knight of Wands, a green flag for you guys is somebody that likes to have fun. You know, somebody who likes to be active. Somebody who likes to go on adventures with you, right? This is talking about passionate adventure. This is also an energy of really being swept up off of your feet. You know what I mean? And sometimes this energy can be a little bit of a red flag, depending on how it's channeled and depending on the level of awareness of the person, because sometimes this is the type of energy that can come in really, really hot and burn out and fizzle really quickly. But because we're reading it as a green flag here, I really think what this is mostly talking about for you, pile one, is like looking for partners who like to have fun with you, looking for partners who like to go out and do things together, maybe travel together, maybe somebody that you share common hobbies or interests or passions with, someone that you can be active with. This also kind of ties into that romantic energy of the night, like somebody that I think is really good at romancing you and kind of sweeping you off your feet. I think that that's something that for whatever reason Spirit is highlighting for you as a green flag. But I am kind of being drawn here to how the sun is setting, which is kind of making me think of like a more grounded version of this Knight of Wands, like a slow version of the Knight of Wands, if that even exists, you know? So it's like there still has to be a groundedness to this type of person because, like I said, passionate energy can fizzle and burn really, really quickly here. You guys also have the Five of Pentacles coming up here. This card is interesting coming up in a green flags reading because this is typically talking about like self-esteem issues or abandonment issues. So what I'm getting from this for some of you guys, especially with the Vampire card coming up next to it, is that I feel like for some of my viewers for pile one, you all may really also enjoy your alone time because this card talks about being isolated and alone. Maybe you guys are kind of like lone wolves in a sense, and you need kind of that time to rest and recharge your batteries. So while I think you guys are wanting companionship and chivalry and fun and passion and all these things, there may be a sense that like sometimes you need that time to yourself to be able to recharge your batteries. You know what I mean? Maybe some of you guys in pile 1 are more introverted, and while you can go out and do the fun things, you also like to be to yourself. So I think something to look out for would be like, if that resonates with you, does this person allow me to have my alone time, right? Does this person allow me the time to recharge my batteries after we've done something in public? Conversely, right, maybe this is an energy of, you know, you guys, the person that you're dating or whoever you're connecting with also being comfortable with being alone, right? Because this, you know, it talks about abandonment issues. So there could be something that pile 1 that you guys deal with or have dealt with in connections past where like your abandonment issues may get triggered at times if you identify with having that as an issue. So I definitely think that it's important that when you're connecting with new people, that is not being triggered, obviously, because that's obviously not in your highest good. And even if it is, like, even in a secure connection, something like that can be triggered. But you want to make sure that it's the type of person that you feel safe enough to work through it with. You know what I mean? Let's continue. This is interesting. We have spiritual connection. A relationship has a connection that goes beyond this lifetime. So definitely fits in. So we're talking about soulmates, but you know, this would be the type of connection that's deeper, right? Like it's physical with the Knight of Wands, it's mental, it's emotional, it's spiritual, right? Like, so this is the type of person where like you could feel like even if you guys are in separation for whatever reason, you're not together all the time, that you still feel that connection with them. You notice here how like we have the woman and the man, and they're kind of like connected here telepathically, even though there's distance in between them, right? So this is not like surface level stuff, which is kind of making sense with that Knight of Wands with the sunset that I'm getting. Like, I think that you guys maybe in the past have maybe gone for the more quick in and out type of Knight of Wands, or maybe you kind of connected with that energy inadvertently because maybe something about that energy temporarily soothed feelings of isolation or abandonment or something like that. But I think that the sun is setting on that type of ungrounded, passionate energy for you. You guys, I think, are needing and wanting something that's much deeper, that is beyond just the surface level of physical attraction and fun and chemistry, right? This is giving me like a mental connection, like someone that you can actually talk to, someone that you can understand on a deep level and who is genuinely wanting to understand you on a deep level as well. So let's see, we've got a few more cards here. So we have the solar plexus chakra. This says manifestation. Manifestation is the fruit of confidence and belief, which kind of, I'm actually going to put that here because I feel like this goes with that side. And then we also have the chakra balance. Embrace the balance between earth and spirit. Oh my gosh. Yes. A green flag to look out for pile 1 is like, I think that sometimes like this, well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I've been talking about, is that sometimes this type of energy isn't always the most grounded energy, right? It can feel so good. We're getting that rush, you know what I mean? And you can still look for this energy because I can see that it's something that feels compatible to you. But you want to be sure that it's grounded, right? Like that the connection is actually going places in the 3D, right? It's balanced between like the excitement and the fun, but then it's also practical, you know? So I would be looking for partners that want to do these fun things with you, but that they also want to like make actual tangible effort to ground your connection in reality, right? And to like take those practical steps forward to like make things official or to build something with you, right? There's also an energy here, like with the spiritual connection coming up. There's an interesting synchronicity here where like, I think you guys want to make sure as well, like there's definitely spiritual connections out there that can never get grounded, right? Or that just never get grounded. Like, I think if you're someone who is definitely like into spirituality and tarot readings and just anything really, this can happen to anyone. There's a lot of people out there that have these sort of like 5D connections where like you might have dreams about the person, or like you know, guys are kind of still telepathically connected because you're watching each other's social media and stuff like that, where we can just have these energy cords with people and like never have the connection actually go anywhere in the physical world. You know what I mean? So if you guys have like identified with that and you've had connections like that where things have just like never gotten grounded in the physical world, but you've had these like spiritual energies between someone, this is talking about like a green flag is being able to find the balance there between feeling that spiritual connection, but then actually having someone who's wanting to take action to like see you in person, take you on dates, make steady progress forward in reality, right? The solar plexus is interesting because this also talks about confidence, which is why I put this over here with the vampire and the 5 of Pentacles. I think that for you, pile 1, being with a person who is confident in themselves is really good for you. That's a green flag for you. But I also think that being with someone who sort of uplifts you and helps you step into your own sense of confidence is also a positive win. Because I can see here with the 5 of Pentacles and the vampire that maybe sometimes you guys have struggled with isolation or abandonment, some of the things that we were talking about earlier. And a lot of times when we're in this energy, we're not really in our personal power. We don't feel as good about ourselves. You know what I mean? So I think a green flag to look out for would be somebody who kind of uplifts you. So think of someone who's very positive, not toxic positivity, but maybe somebody who themselves is very positive. Maybe somebody who themselves is very confident. Somebody who like believes in themselves and is able to kind of stand in their own personal power. Maybe this energy isn't necessarily your guys' energy, but maybe this is the energy of red flags past where you guys have had people latch onto you because you're the confident one, right? And they've depleted you of your energy. And so what you guys really need is somebody who's not going to take from your energy, but who's going to help keep you balanced, right? You guys are in an equal exchange of give and take with energy. So yeah, I think somebody confident and somebody who's able to stand on their own would be a great green flag to look out for. Closing it out, we have imagine all unwanted thoughts dissolving into light, creating room for new opportunities and possibilities for your life. So this kind of ties in with that manifestation card because this is sort of talking about like thoughts become things, right? So when we focus more on like the negative side of what we don't have or the lack energy, which 5 of Pentacles can also resemble, then that's what you create in front of you is lack. But when you're more focused on like the positive things coming in, gratitude, the blessings that you see all around you, it makes it easier to call in what it is that you're looking for in love, right? So I think for you guys, I mean, I don't know that this really this last message really pertains to like a green flag in a person per se, but I do feel like it's advice for you to like let go of the past, you know, let go of any negative thoughts that you may struggle with at times, because this is taking up space for all the beautiful blessings and love that are destined to come your way. So this is interesting, pile number 1. I want to hear from you down below in the comments. Like, how does this resonate? Did you guys watch this video just looking for a general overview, or did you watch this trying to look to see about a specific person? Definitely let me know and tell me which aspects feel the most fitting to you in your situation. If you're not already, please do subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so that you are notified when I'm uploading new content, and I will see you in a new reading really soon. Bye. Hey pile 2, if you guys picked out the Mookite, this is going to be your reading. We're looking at green flags that someone is a soulmate aligned with you for your highest good versus red flags, which we dove into in the last video like this, which is linked in the description box if you guys want to check out any red flags that you want to be aware of when you're out there dating. So you guys can watch this reading for maybe a specific person that you're curious about to see if they're a soulmate that's aligned in your highest good, or maybe just for general self-exploration as you're out there meeting and connecting new people. So let's go ahead and see pile 2, your green flags. So we have the warrior energy and we have the servant energy. So I'm already kind of getting like the vibe that you guys, a green flag to look out for, I think would be somebody who is wanting to be supportive, like literally somebody who wants to be of service to you. Maybe acts of service is a love language for my pile 2 viewers, and you really need someone to express love to you through doing acts of kindness or doing things that kind of take tasks off of your plate, right? Like someone that can cook for you when you've been busy all day, someone that can take the trash out for you, like someone that will come, like, I don't know, take your car to the shop if you don't want to do it, right? That's my dream. So I think that's definitely coming through here with the energy of the servant. This says, delight in serving others with a free and loving heart. So I think there's an energy here of looking for someone who is like happy to do things for you just because they care for you, just because they love you. And they don't expect you to do anything in return. There's no strings attached to the nice things that they do. Because, you know, some people will do nice things, but then they expect something in return. And that's not what this energy is. The warrior card is interesting. Some of you guys may like someone who's kind of like physically active, or someone who is physically strong. Maybe somebody that's really into physical fitness. Kind of getting that vibe from this card. Like physical activity could be important to look out for with your lifestyle and things like that. This says strength, skill, discipline, and toughness of will, heroism, stoicism, and self-sacrifice in conquering the ego. So I love some of these light attributes here, because sometimes when we think of someone who's like strong physically, or like maybe like physically really good looking, or any of that, sometimes there is an energy of ego that can come along with that if somebody hasn't really delved deeper into themselves and they're just kind of focusing on the surface of their looks. So I think for you guys, if you do need, you know, I think a green flag is like, yes, date someone that you're physically attracted to. Like, yes, date someone who is physically strong and has stamina and maybe is into like athletic activities if that's something that you're into. But also there's a balance here of this like this energy of being disciplined. Someone who is not operating from a sense of ego. Like they're in this warrior energy because it's like the right thing to do, not necessarily because they're doing it to get something out of it for themselves. It's kind of similar to the servant energy that I'm getting here. The card also said stoicism, so maybe some of you guys need a person that's a little more low-key and just like not super out there and extroverted too. So we have the 10 of Wands. Okay, makes a lot of sense. We also have the Devil card. Green flags. I think with the 10 of Wands, what this is really talking about is someone that, again, kind of going back to the energy of the acts of service, like someone who's willing to actually like do the heavy lifting for you sometimes. You know, I think of a person who's willing to take on your burdens as their own when needed. Somebody that's really there to support you when you're going through a hard time. Somebody who's willing to come in and just take things off of your plate because they love you and they genuinely care about you. And again, they're not expecting anything in return because they're like, I just want to help you. I want to take the burdens off of your back. Again, the 10 of Wands for me, I know this is so random, you guys. It probably tells you a lot about my life's experiences, but this card for me also can talk about weightlifting. So, like lifting heavy weights. So I am getting for someone out there, like I do think that there's like an athletic side to this reading. Like I think that you guys may like someone or need to go for someone that's into being physically fit and strong. Maybe that's a part of someone's lifestyle that's out there is health and fitness. And so maybe you know, that physical strength is coming in because of that. Maybe someone you guys can work out with, lift weights together with, I don't know. With the Devil card, this is interesting. So Devil card is sort of like an energy of someone who would be kind of obsessed with you. It's not always the healthiest obsession, but it's not all bad either. I really feel like you guys would be good with somebody, or what am I trying to say? I'm getting all like scatterbrained. I think something to look out for is someone that you feel passionately about and they feel passionately about you, that flame never burns out. You know what I mean? Because the Devil card is a very passionate energy. It's also an energy of like indulgence, right? Like being able to indulge in things together that bring you kind of like that immediate gratification, whether it's like an activity you like to do, physical stuff, like in the bedroom, that type of vibe. So maybe like bedroom chemistry is important to some of you guys as well. And that's a green flag to look out for to see if there's compatibility there. That's definitely could be something with the Devil card. The other thing I'm getting with the Devil is an energy of obligations. So Like sometimes in a negative sense, the devil can talk about like things that we're obligated to do. We have to pay the devil their due, that kind of saying, if you guys have ever heard that before. So I think reading this in a positive light, because we're looking for green flags, the way that I would see this is someone who is going to honor their commitments in a sense. I would never read that as the devil, but I think of obligations, like someone that's going to do what they're obligated to do, someone that's going to honor their obligations because they have to. You guys are a ball and chain, right? We have practice compassion, see things from a fresh perspective. So somebody who's willing to see the bright side of things, somebody who is willing to see things from a different perspective, right? Maybe you guys in the past have dealt with really stubborn energies. That's the devil card is also Capricorn energy, so I could see some stubbornness maybe having been, you know, a thing in your past for some. So I think being able to connect with someone who's a little bit more flexible and open-minded, whether it's you guys are talking about like whatever topic in the world, or maybe talking about something going on in your relationship, someone that's able to see it from a fresh perspective, someone that's able to be compassionate and put themselves in your shoes and be able to see how you're perceiving the situation. So someone that's able to have a deeper understanding of issues, deeper understanding of things you're talking about, and not always be so fixed in their way of doing things. Someone that's compassionate for others, right? Someone who's able to step into anyone's shoes and perceive it from their experience. Let's look at these chakra cards. So we have the throat chakra coming up. This says creativity. Use creativity to transform your pain into positivity. Okay. And then we have the crown chakra. This says meditation. To see more clearly, close your eyes. So communication is definitely being highlighted with this connection. If this is a specific connection, or just, you guys know what I'm talking about in general, when you guys are connecting. Like, I think when you guys are dating or trying to decide if someone's really compatible with you, you've got to be with someone who's able to be communicative with you in a positive way, because this is saying transforming your pain into positivity. Kind of tying in with this compassion energy, right? Like, somebody who's able to communicate in a positive way about problems or issues going on. And I think somebody who's able to have a more optimistic sensibility about things, a more optimistic outlook about things, and then verbalize and express that to you. I'm also getting, for some of you guys, literally maybe someone who's creative. Maybe you guys are really creative. So a green flag would be to date someone who is creative. So maybe like someone that's great with artistic expression, whether it's like with throat chakra, it could be like singing or music. It could be poetry. It could be anything where they're using their voice or their words, written communication, things like that. I also think that a green flag to look out for is somebody who is kind of in touch with their higher self. So someone maybe who practices like meditation, or somebody who's able to really see situations from a higher perspective versus just like the surface level. Someone that's able to kind of look at something from a bird's eye view. And when you kind of zoom the lens out and look at situations from a bird's eye view, you're able to see the big picture a lot more clearly. So I think someone who's big picture, you know, someone that isn't stubborn, they're flexible because they can see it from multiple perspectives. They can see it from a higher perspective versus their own fixed kind of way of how they want to see it. Maybe like someone who likes to meditate, or someone who is passionate about even taking care of like their mental health could be a green flag for this group as well. I could definitely see like with the devil card coming up here, like, you know, we're all going to have our devil energy within us at times, like the things that we're obsessed with, the things we're addicted to that aren't always the healthiest for us. And that happens on a gradient. But I feel like for this group, you're accepting of this as long as somebody's like self-aware and putting in the work to either like heal it or manage it. You know what I mean? So this is interesting, pile 2. Let's close it out with your little heart message. And you guys have here, sacred union. Honor and treasure your relationship, for it is truly sacred. So yeah, I think a green flag is to look at how the person behaves and really treats the relationship. If somebody is honoring you, somebody is treasuring you, and really treating this connection like it is sacred, like the card says, treating it with care and consideration, that is a green flag. And you guys probably know, like, if you're watching this about a specific person and you're curious, like, are they my soulmate? You know, I think that looking at their behavior that's like the biggest thing that I'm seeing coming through here is like behavior energy, because it's a lot of this like acts of service, taking burdens off of your plate, like being willing to care for you and care for the relationship and put physical effort into the relationship. Those are all green flags that you should be looking out for. So if you're watching this for someone else and they're not doing those things, that's a red flag, big time. So pile 2, I think we're going to go ahead and close out your reading, but I would love to hear from you in the comments how you feel it resonates with you and your situation. Did you watch this for a specific person? Did you watch it just for general guidance? Let me know. If you're not already, please do subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so that you are notified when I upload new content. And I do look forward to seeing you in a new video really soon. Bye. Hey, pile 3, if you guys picked out the rose quartz little heart, this will be a reading. We are looking into green flags that someone is a soulmate. So you guys are free to watch this for general guidance, for when you're out there dating, or you can totally watch it to see if a specific person on your mind is a soulmate in a green flag sense. And if you guys are curious, I did do a video about red flags that someone is not a soulmate. That is linked down below if you guys want to look into that aspect of things. So let's go ahead and start off with your archetype cards. So for you guys, we have the athlete and we have the judge. So I definitely think for this group, green flags to look out for would be someone who is fair, someone who is non-judgmental or neutral in the way that they kind of deal with people in situations. Like, I think maybe Libra energy. Maybe you guys are really compatible with the sign of Libra. The Judge card says balancing justice and compassion, managing the fair distribution of power. So I think like when I think of balancing justice and compassion, I also think of somebody who has good boundaries, like someone who's able to exercise compassion for people without like overly swinging efforts or whatever in their direction, you know, like it's about sort of like exercising good judgment around certain situations and not allowing the emotions of the situation to sway you one way or another. Does that make sense? So I think someone who's just really neutral is really good when it comes to dealing with people and situations. Maybe even someone that's neutral when there's conflict going on between the both of you, someone that's able to be fair and really judge fairly. Instead of getting wrapped up in the emotions of a situation. And certainly someone who's willing to put in equal effort into the connection as well, right? Like, so it feels balanced versus like you're giving too much and they're taking everything, or vice versa. I also think for this group, I kind of got this in pile 2 as well, but there's something here for you guys around like athleticism or physical fitness. So I think a green flag to look out for would be someone who like maybe leads an active life, someone that's able to, you know, maybe they like to work out, they take care of their physical health, either through exercise, diet, going to doctor's appointments like they should. Physical fitness is definitely coming through strong with this. This also says dedication to transcending physical limits, including handicaps, development of personal willpower and strength of spirit. So from a spiritual perspective or an energy perspective, this is the type of person that's very confident in themselves. Someone that's able to like do things, like physically go out and do things. So if they say they want to do something, they have the confidence and the wherewithal to just go out and make it happen versus like shrinking back and it's just always remaining a dream. You know what I mean? So somebody I think that has strong follow through would be, you know, that would be a green flag that someone is a soulmate or at least compatible with you. So we have the 8 of Pentacles. And we have the 10 of Pentacles. So yes, lots of Pentacles energy. So with the Pentacles coming up, this is, you know, big time Earth energy. So maybe Earth signs are something that you guys are more drawn to. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, doesn't have to be. But I would say with these two cards, green flags that someone is a soulmate would be somebody that's really wanting to put in tangible effort to build things. I also think somebody who's willing to take things slow and take their time. And I know like there's going to be some people out there that are going to get mad at me for saying that, because I see that in the comments all the time. And I totally get why, you guys, because there are some negative experiences that we've all experienced when someone's going slow. And a lot of times we kind of conflate this with someone who's like stringing us along or taking forever to ask us on a date. Like there are bad things when people are slow, because a lot of times that comes from indecision. But this is different. To me, this is the energy of taking their time to get to know you the right way, because they want to build something with you long term. So a green flag to look out for would be someone that actually says they want a long-term relationship. Someone that actually wants like maybe more traditional things, or at least it doesn't have to be traditional. It's just like whatever your ultimate relationship goal would be in life, they have the same goal for themselves, and you guys can build that together, right? So for example, if you say, I want to get married one day and I want to build a legacy for our children, they also come into the connection like, yeah, I want those things too. And then there's an effort between you both to actually cultivate that instead of just saying it. Does that make sense? So it's more about like taking it slow, because we want to achieve this ultimate goal together, which is going to take time of getting to know each other and dating and things like that. The Eight of Pentacles is making me think of someone who's paying attention to the details, right? Maybe they're not perfect and they don't expect you to be perfect. Maybe you don't expect them to be perfect, but this is someone who is paying attention, right? They are paying attention to your needs, your wants, your desires. They're paying attention to the connection and what's going on in the connection. And they're making that steady effort to learn about it so that you guys can grow and build together to this Ten of Pentacles, this ultimate achievement. You guys may also, there's also like a creative message here too. So maybe someone who is artistic in nature. If that's not the case though, definitely somebody who is detail oriented would be a green flag for this group. Someone that doesn't miss the little details that are important. Someone that's not like absent-minded, you know, or flaky. Someone that's very stable and steady is what I'm getting with this, would be a green flag to look out for. We have the heart of the matter. There is more going on than meets the eye. So somebody who's able to go deeper with you, right? That's a green flag. Someone that is able to help you get to the root cause of things. Let's say you guys are having a conflict. This would be the type of person that wants to genuinely understand and gather all the facts of what's going on from your perspective, from their perspective, and then actually get to the root cause so that you guys can solve it, work together to resolve it. Like I'm just getting for this group for pile 3 that you guys would do really well with someone who, I mean, we probably all would, but I think a major green flag for this group is somebody that's really willing to actually be a partner to you. Especially with this Judge card, it's like there's an energy here of someone who is willing to put in that equal effort. So you guys are standing together side by side, hand in hand, walking through life. And it's not just like them dragging you along or you trying to drag them along. Like you're both willing participants in this connection. Do you get what I mean? I also think too, for the person, right? Like when you guys are out there dating, or if this is about a specific person, looking for someone, or a green flag to look out for would be somebody that is deeper, somebody that's not just surface level. I was kind of mentioning this in pile 2 because the energy is a little similar, but sometimes with this energy of people that like, and this is not to generalize, but it is a thing out there. Sometimes when people are solely focused on like the physical appearances, you know, they're not yet at that place where they're really understanding who they are on an emotional and spiritual level, right? And it's all just about the surface level of what's going on, like how they look, right? So I think for you guys, you may want to date someone you're attracted to, I think as we all do, with the athlete card coming up here, but it's also important that you're connecting with someone that has a little bit more to them, right? There's more going on beneath the surface than just good looks. So let's look at these chakra cards. So we have the sacral. This is letting go. Letting go is not giving up. Sometimes it's the first step towards success. Okay. And then we also have the heart chakra, compassion. Resolve your conflicts with compassion. This is so similar to pile 2. So interesting. So I definitely think someone with compassion here with the heart chakra, both of these cards actually are kind of like about emotional expression in a sense. So I think a green flag to look out for is somebody who is able to emotionally express, someone that's able to talk about how they feel, someone that's able to kind of let stuff go, you know, like if there's a conflict, like let it roll off your back. It doesn't mean you ignore it, but it's like there's an energy of not holding a grudge. Someone that's able to connect with you about it, talk it through, and then release it and let it go so that you guys can be able to move forward. I also think, too, someone that's not stuck in the past, right? I know that this is something we can encounter a lot when we're dating. Like sometimes people are just dating and, you know, it happens where they're just still stuck on something negative that happened in the past and they're still healing from it. So I definitely think a green flag for this group to look out for is someone that is ready to move on from the past and ready to embrace something new in their life. They're able to let it go with the flow, right? Resolving conflicts with compassion. There's that judge energy of like being compassionate, but then also being fair. You know what I mean? Keeping the things in balance. Maybe you guys have dealt with people in the past that really weren't the best at being compassionate. So this would be someone that's able to like step into your shoes and try to see it from your perspective. And even if they don't totally agree with your position, they still can understand where you're coming from. So last card, your little heart card that you guys chose, we have the energy of wait. It says, don't rush into it. Allow nature to take its course. This group is going to get so mad at me in the comments. But a green flag clearly coming through is like, looking for someone that's not trying to fast forward you into something. Looking for someone that is not rushing in to the situation, okay? The thing about it is, and I think I covered this in pile 1 because they had some different energy, but sometimes when people come in really passionate, it burns out really fast because they're thinking with their like sexual energy, and that's what's motivating them versus like anything else, you know? So it's like there's actually positive outcomes when we can take our time and really actually get to know someone and see how compatible you really are through doing things the right way. So like, let me give you guys an example of like a red flag, what I'm trying to illustrate here. Let's say that you just met someone and they're already like, oh, can I, like, before they've even taken you on a date, maybe they're like, oh, can I come pick you up from the airport? Or like, oh, I can come help you with that thing around your house. And it's like, wait a minute, like, you haven't even taken me out on a date. Like, you haven't even done anything to get to know me. And you're already trying to, like, jump into these, like, behaviors almost like we're married. You know what I mean? But we're not. Like, we don't even know each other. Or the type of person that wants you to come over for Netflix instead of taking you on a date. You know what I mean? Like, I think what this is saying is like, be wary of people who are trying to fast forward the relationship, right? Be wary of those things that people will throw out there to try to get their immediate needs met first, or try to build that closeness with you too quickly or inappropriately. Take your time to get to know someone. And this is the type of behavior you should be looking for as a green flag. So it may be, for some of you guys, maybe it would be weird because maybe you're used to the people that come in really passionate and hot and heavy and like they're on the hot pursuits. But actually, a green flag for you guys would be somebody that's a little more practical. This doesn't mean someone that's flaky. It just means someone that is steadily making effort over time to build something with you, to take you on proper dates and do it the right way. So, pile 3. I really am excited to hear how you felt this resonated. So please drop me a comment below and let me know. Did you watch this for general guidance? Did you watch it about a specific person? I'm curious to know your situation. If you guys are not already, please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so that you are notified when I upload new videos. And I look forward to hearing from you in a new one really soon. Bye.